Hi everybody, welcome to another little cookery session. Today is a slightly different session as it's called, as the topic is Chef Becky's Store Cupboard Challenge. This was brought about when I had one of my Zooms with cookery students and we were talking about all the different types of foods that we've got lying around our cupboards and we're using in this lockdown time. So I thought it was a really great little challenge for them to set me, to give me some foods that people have got sitting around their cupboards, which if you're anything like me, I've got quite a lot. So two of the ingredients that were the ones that I've chosen came from a student and a colleague. So the first one is this black beans, or turtle beans sometimes they're called. So I had some sitting around my cupboard, so I'm going to be using that. That's one of the main ingredients. And the other one, somebody's asked me about, what can I do with red lentils that's not just for a soup? So these are the base of the main ingredients for my recipe. So I was sort of thinking, what am I going to do with this? So I thought about a dish that everybody really loves, which is a chili con carne. And I thought I'm going to make my own version with these black beans, red lentils. I've added in a few of my own little bits, so always a base. We've always got an onion knocking around here. I'm using 2 carrots. I've got a pepper, and I'm going to use some sweet corn as my sort of veg. Tin of chopped tomatoes, always a good store cupboard basic there. Tin tomatoes, it's not tin tomatoes, it's puree. Smoked paprika and some chili powder. And then you also might find, I've actually got a tin of black beans here. So these ones are just good and ready to go. Alternatively, if you have got these black beans just dried, like anything like kidney beans, chickpeas, what you need to do is you need to soak these, usually overnight or at least for a good 4 or 5 hours. So first job that you want to do if you've got the dried version is in a bowl of water, is just sticking in. Now I'm using about 100-150 grams of the black turtle beans, and in they go. Lots of water, if you can see that. Just keep them submerged in all the water, usually overnight, and then we can start to cook them and use them. I've got some garlic as well to go in, really good for my chili. And then that's it. You can be like really sort of creative if you've got courgette lying around, mushrooms, whatever, just, put it all in. So what I need is the equipment, weighing scales, just my chopping board, a garlic crush and a knife. I've got my saucepan over there ready to go. I forgot my oil as the last ingredient. And then that's all our ingredients. So once we've soaked the beans, we'll come back and have a look at what to do then. Okay, so we've soaked all the beans, so they've sort of expanded slightly in the water. And then the next thing you do before we start actually cooking my little creative chili, you've got to actually cook these beans. So if you come closer, I've put my beans in water, so it's covering. You turn it up and boil it for 10 minutes, and then you reduce your heat to that simmering for 40 minutes. So it's really important you cook these beans, otherwise they might give you a bit of a tummy pain, quite frankly. And then once that's done, we can start actually making the chili. Okay, so my beans have now been simmering for 40 minutes, so I've just drained them. So you can see that they've actually expanded quite nicely. So I'm just going to pour them into a bowl and we're ready to start the cooking. So over we come. I'm just going to put my saucepan there, a little bit of oil, olive oil. You can use coconut oil, would be quite nice. And then I'm just going to put it onto 3. So while I'm waiting for that to heat up, just really to talk about these legumes, as they're known, actually, this sort of food type, the beans and lentils. Fantastic source of protein. So this whole recipe that I'm creating is fantastic for vegetarians, vegans, because there's no meat in it. and it will give them all the sort of nutrients that you need. So really good, and these, especially these black beans, are used and cooked with a lot in South America. So hence why I've chosen my little con carne, bean con carne. So let's start cooking. Base is always going to be my onion. I've already chopped it up, any particular size. In it goes. And then once that sort of softens, I'm then going to add in some garlic and the paprika and a bit of chili to get that flavour in there already. I've got my salt and pepper ready. I've got my carrots chopped. My pepper's done as well. So, and that's already. My tin of tomatoes are nearby. So now's the time I'm going to add in my garlic. My onion has softened quite nicely. So in goes that. Give it a nice little stir around. You don't want the garlic to burn because that is a really nasty, bitter flavour. So keep an eye on that. Then I'm going to start to add in my spices because I think the earlier the flavour goes in. So I like a lot of smoked paprika. So I'm putting in 2 teaspoons of that. And then extra hot chili powder. So you don't have to use this if your family don't like spicy, but I'm going to go for it. So I'm going to put 1.5 in. And actually a top tip, if anybody ever makes anything too spicy, you know what you should do is if you get a fresh lemon and half it and pop it in your curry or chilli, it will draw out all the heat and that'll make it less spicy. So if you come and have a look now, it's become lovely and like almost paste-like with those spices put in there. So now's the time I'm going to add in the rest of my ingredients, my carrots, which will take quite a while, and I'll put in my pepper. And I'm going to put in next is the lentils, because they will take a little bit of time to cook. Now, in they go. They're going to go in dry for a minute. I'm going to soak them up in the flavour. And then if you've cooked with lentils before, you'll know that actually it needs a bit of liquid. So I'm just going to mix this round for a minute or two, just get some flavour in. And this might be a good time. I'm going to add in a little bit of salt, not too much because we know that's not great for us. A pinch of pepper. What I'm going to do next is actually add in some liquid. I'm going to add in the tinned tomatoes, and if I feel it needs a bit more liquid, I'm just going to add in some water. And because the beans are already cooked, I'm going to put them in a little bit later once the lentils have cooked. So that's mixed around for a little bit. Now open my tin of tomatoes. Now in class, this is quite a tricky one for people because it's got a really difficult tin pull there. So what we do in the cookery class is I help people and tell them a good way to do it. So if you get a spoon and just put it underneath here, and it will stop you from like really cutting because it can be quite sharp. Push it up, and then you can use this to sort of hold it, pull it back like so, and you don't then, it's got these really sharp edges. So it's one way of like just stopping yourself from cutting. So in goes my tomatoes. You hear that sizzling away. Quite frankly, I've not made this, so this is going to be a complete surprise for me as well. But I'm thinking it's looking pretty good and smelling nice at the moment. So I always do this because I've still got lots of tomato left in my tin. So I just swirl round a little bit of water and get the rest of my, and it empties out my tin as well. So there we go. These lentils will probably take, I reckon, about 15 minutes or so just to loosen up, and they will start to sort of expand and cook. You must make sure you cook these, otherwise they'll be really tough and hard. So we'll let these cook for 15 minutes. Okay, so the lentils and the carrots and peppers and onions have been cooking for about 20 minutes. So if you want to come and have a look, it's started to take on a really nice thicker texture. You can see the lentils have started to expand. I have added a little bit of water because it really soaks up the water, soaks up the moisture of the liquid, the lentils. So now is the time I'm going to add in my black beans and the sweet corn, and I'm going to let this gently simmer for another 20 or 30 minutes. You can see it's starting to really thicken up, so it looks like I need to put a little bit more liquid in. And at this point I'm going to actually add in, just to give it a really extra tomatoey flavour, add in a bit of tomato puree. Again, a good store cupboard ingredient. Give it a little mix round. Let that all merge of the flavours. And we'll come back and look in 20 minutes and it should be ready to go. So this has been cooking now for about 20 minutes with the sweet corn and the black beans in. So I just want to show you the texture. So I've had a little taste and it is absolutely delicious. Smoky, filling, you can taste all the sort of like chunky bits of protein. So now I'm going to plate it up, and I thought I'm going to make it a bit fun. I've got some lovely corn tortillas here. So you could have it with rice or a jacket potato or just on its own. So here we go. Black bean and lentil, a little bit of grated cheese on top, and then of course any good South American recipe would have some delicious avocado, and I've squeezed a little bit of lime on there. And then my pièce de résistance from my garden, I've just picked a little bit of parsley. And there we are. So guys, here is my stool cupboard challenge. The black bean, lentil, veggie chili with my tortillas and avocado. And I think it's actually been quite a success, considering, you know, it was a challenge. I hadn't really tried it out until today. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this. It's been a fun challenge. And I'd really like, maybe you can actually, I'm going to throw the challenge back to you guys. How about you try and make this, or use some other ingredients, see how it comes out, send me some photos. Or if you'd like another challenge, you can always leave a message on the YouTube channel if there's other store cupboard bits that you think might be fun. But yeah, look forward to it, and I've really enjoyed it. So get using your store cupboard bits.